happened after you opened the door, Rhonda?
I opened up the back door and she was like, I accidentally left her in the car. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, Brooke, oh my God, Brooke. And she said, call 911. And so I ran back inside. I couldn't find my phone. And when I found it, I have a code to get in. And I couldn't remember my code to get in my phone.
At that point, after you had found your phone and you're trying to get into it, have you come back outside to the car?
Ma'am.
At that point, after you had found your phone, but you couldn't remember the code to use it, did you come back out to the car?
I did.
Was Brooke on the phone at that time?
I think she was, yes, ma'am.
What did you do at that point?
I got the baby out of the car, in the car seat.
What did you do with Ariya after you got her out of the car seat?
I held her, and I prayed God was taking me instead. I begged God to give her breath and just take me instead of her.
At some point, okay. At some point, did you take Ariya inside the garage?
I did.
What did you do at that point?
Brooke came in, and I think she was on the phone with Miss Paige, or I don't know who she was on the phone with. But she had told me to go to the road and wait for 911 to get there so they know where to go.
And did you do that?
I did.
I'm assuming that the EMTs and firefighters, they came?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened after they arrived?
I remember coming out of the garage, and I went to the front porch, and Brooke went somewhere. I don't remember where she went, but I just know we weren't together.
I'm sorry, you weren't
We weren't together.
Did you go back inside Stacy's home at that point?
I remembered that they were supposed to be eating lunch, and I went to go check and see if the stove was still on. I couldn't remember if I turned it off or what. And I just asked Maddie, the oldest daughter, I said, just please keep them in here. Please keep them in here. Don't let them come outside.
And after you did that, did you go back outside?
I did.
Did you have to call Stacy Pascal?
I did.
And why did you call her?
Because the ambulance is always there, and I didn't want somebody to call and ask her what was going on. So I asked Stacy, I said, I need you to come home. And she said, what's going on? I said, I just need you to come home. I said, it's not your children. And she said, what's going on? And I said, I forgot the baby was in the car. And I forgot I had her. And
do you remember Stacy coming home?
Vaguely, yes, ma'am.
When Stacy got there, did she speak with you?
She said, what's going on? And I said, Stacy, oh my God, I accidentally left the baby in the car.
Did you get physically ill at that time, Rhonda?
Yes, ma'am.
And what actually happened?
I remember going to the car and getting the baby out of the car seat, or opening up the door, and I peed all over myself going to the car. And then I threw up.
Did you throw up after Stacy got there and you were having the conversation with her?
Yes, ma'am.
At that point when Stacy came, do you know where Brooke was, where Brooke Paige was?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever have an opportunity to speak with Brooke after the EMTs arrived?
I did not.
At some point, the sheriff's office deputies asked you to go to the sheriff's office, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And they actually took you there, I guess is the better way to put that. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen your statement that was played today. Was that the entire statement that you gave them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Going back to this day on September 19th of last year, did you get Ariya out of the car when you got to Stacy's?
I'm sorry, say that
When you
again.
arrived at Stacy's that morning, did you get her out of the car?
No, ma'am, I forgot I had her.
Did you realize that Ariya was there and think that she was sleeping and it left her there and intended to come back and get her?
No, ma'am, I totally forgot I had her.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. Jewell, isn't it true that Brooke and Justice paid you to be a babysitter or a nanny for Ariya?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry?
Yes, sir.
That was your decision to be a babysitter for Ariya. That was your choice.
Yes, sir.
You had an agreement with them to watch Ariya,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
You had an agreement to care for Ariya. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You had an agreement to make sure, when Ariya was with you, to make sure that she was safe. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes, sir.
You were her caregiver on the days that you watched her, correct?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it also true that Brooke and Justice paid you money because you were the babysitter on the days that you would watch her?
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that on the days that you had Ariya, that you were watching and caring for Ariya, that you were supposed to feed her?
Yes, sir.
You were supposed to make her baby bottle.
Yes, sir.
You were supposed to mix her baby food together to feed her the formula.
Yes, sir.
Change her diaper when necessary.
Yes, sir.
If she needed baby lotion or baby wipe, you were responsible for that.
Yes, sir.
That was your decision that you told Brooke and Justice that you would do.
Yes, sir.
If she needed a blanket, you'd give her a blanket.
Yes, sir.
A change of clothes, you would take care of her and change her clothes, correct?
Yes, sir.
If she needed a pacifier, you'd give her a pacifier.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
These are things that you agreed to do when you would be caring for Ariya.
Yes, sir.
Let me take you to July 19th of 2023. On that day, you went to Brooke and Justice's house, correct?
Yes, sir.
You got up that morning from your house and you drove to Brooke and Justice's house, correct?
Yes, sir.
That was your job.
Yes, sir.
And you didn't forget to do that, correct?
Right.
As I mentioned earlier, you were being paid to do this because it was your job.
Yes, sir.
So you drive your vehicle to Brooke and Justice's house. You did not forget how to get to her house, correct?
Right.
You then pull into the driveway, correct?
Correct.
when you went to Brooke and Justice's house, isn't it true that you had your cell phone with you?
Yes, sir, it was the cup holder.
When you got to Brooke and Justice's house, didn't Brooke have Ariya in the baby car seat?
Yes, sir.
And isn't it true that Brooke put Ariya inside of your vehicle?
Yes, sir.
You were there, you were present, and you saw her put the baby in your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
You didn't forget that. You remember that.
Yes, sir.
You saw Brooke put the baby bag with all of the items inside of it inside of your vehicle.
Yes, sir.
You didn't forget that, correct?
Correct.
You then drove off in your vehicle with Ariya in the vehicle with you, correct?
Yes, sir.
There was no one else in the vehicle but you and Ariya.
Yes, sir.
You go to Burger King. How far would you say it is from Burger King to Brooke's house?
I didn't go through Burger King. I stopped at the red light.
The red light. How far approximately is it?
I'm not really sure. Not good with distance, so I don't know.
3-4 minutes?
Yes, yes, sir.
Did you forget about Ariya in 3 or 4 minutes? You just picked her up.
Yes, sir. I did pick her up. Yes, sir. I agree.
When you got to the intersection of where Burger King is, did you forget that quickly that you had just picked up a baby?
It was not that quickly. I went from...
So you remembered she was in the car at that moment?
No, sir. I didn't. I picked her up.
Is it your testimony today, Ms. Jewell?
Judge, let the witness answer the question, please.
Sustain.
Go ahead and answer, Ms. Jewell.
I picked her up from Brooke and Justice's house at approximately 8 o'clock. And I went through McClenny, through the red lights. And I stopped at the red light at Burger King. And in my mind, I was picking up breakfast for all the kids. And I noticed that the line was long. And I would not make it to the Pascal's house by 8:15. So I just went ahead and went to the Pascal's house because I needed to be inside so she could leave by 8:15.
Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Let's go back to the red light, where the Burger King is. That's just a few minutes from Brooke and Justice's house, correct?
I would say 10 minutes.
My question to you is this. When you got to that red light, where the Burger King is, at that moment, did you forget Ariya was in the car?
I did.
You did? So you had gotten up that morning with the job of driving to Brooke's house to get Ariya, and your testimony today is after picking up the baby, in approximately 10 minutes, you forgot you had picked up the baby.
I forgot I had her. Yes, sir.
And that was your job, to get her. Correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
And as you testified today, you've been doing this for years. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So you leave the Burger King, you go to Stacy's house, correct?
Yes, sir.
You're testifying today that you forgot Ariya was in the car by the time you got to the intersection of where Burger King is and also at Stacy's house, correct?
Yes, sir.
So it would be fair to say that at that moment you have failed in your duties as a caregiver, correct?
I did not hear her. She didn't make a sound, so I didn't know I forgot she was in the car. I didn't hear her.
Ms. Jewell, that isn't my question.
Okay,
My
I'm
question
sorry.
is, would you agree, isn't it true? You're saying you forgot she was in a car. You failed as a nanny, as a babysitter, as a caregiver. You're saying you forgot about the baby.
Yes, sir.
So you failed in your duties, correct?
Yes, sir.
You get to Stacy's house and you get out of the car, correct?
Yes, sir.
You had your cell phone in your hand, a bag of chips, a can of chicken, and I think your water bottle or a cup of water, whatever it was, correct?
Yes, sir.
You didn't forget to take those things out of the car, correct?
Correct. It was sitting in front of me. Yes, sir.
You could have put Ariya's blanket in front of you if you wanted to, but you didn't do that. That was your choice, correct?
No, sir. I didn't put her blanket in the car.
Was the blanket in the car?
It was, oh, yes, sir. It was on, I guess it was in her bag or,
But you could have put it in the front. You could have put the whole baby bag in the front seat if you wanted to, but you didn't. Correct?
I did not.
So your testimony today is you got up in the morning, you drove to Brooke's house and Justice's house, picked up the baby, and in approximately 15 minutes, you just forgot the baby was in the car, even though that was your job, correct?
Yes, sir. I forgot.
When you went into Stacy's house, you have to agree, isn't it true, you never got Ariya out of the car.
No, sir. I did not.
You didn't get the baby bag out of the car either.
No, sir.
You get to Stacy's house, and at 8:17, you've seen the text. You send a text to at 8:17, the text from you to Brooke is just left. Shocker, with a emoji, a happy face emoji. You remember that?
Yes, sir.
So you sent Brooke a text at 8:17. Miss Jewell, you're saying that you forgot Ariya's in the car. But at 8:17, you're texting her mom. There's no reason for you to even be texting Brooke unless you have her child. You're texting her at 8:17 in the morning, letting her know Stacy's left.